So it is time to go over the final injury report for the Packers versus Bears game coming up on Sunday afternoon. And if we start off here with the Packers injury report, there are plenty of players on here. And if we look at the guys who have injury designations, first off, Rudy Ford is going to be out with a hamstring injury. And as well, A.J. Dillon, running back, he's going to be out as well. Matt LaFleur said today it's not because of his broken thumb. It's because of a stinger he suffered last week. So the Packers are without A.J. Dillon. Luckily, Aaron Jones is now healthy. Patrick Taylor will likely be the running back too. And then the Packers have a choice of either elevating Kenyon Drake to the active roster or potentially putting Emmanuel Wilson, who is currently on the IR, back onto the active roster if he is healthy and ready to go. Then if we move to Elgton Jenkins, he is questionable. Didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday, but it's a positive sign that he was limited today. So the fact that he went from not practicing to practicing Friday, so he is moving in the right direction there. We'll see if he is able to play on Sunday. Aaron Jones, no injury designation. Isaiah McDuffie's doubtful with a concussion/neck injury. Didn't practice all week. Luke Musgrave is questionable. He was limited all 3 days with that lacerated kidney he suffered weeks ago. So the Packers have a chance at getting Luke Musgrave back, which would be huge for this Packers offense. And then we have Josh Myers, no injury designation. Same with Keyshawn Nixon and Jonathan Owens. Jaden Reed is questionable, was limited Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Suffered that chest injury versus the Vikings, so he may be back on Sunday. Darnell Savage, no designation. TJ Slayton, no designation. Preston Smith didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday, just like Elgton Jenkins. And then he practiced today in a limited capacity, so he is questionable. He may or may not play. And honestly, my guess with lots of these guys who are questionable, if they're sort of on the edge, I think they'll play. It's such a big game, so there's no doubt in my mind lots of these guys will try to play if they're healthy and ready to go. And if I had to guess, I would say Preston Smith and Elgton Jenkins are able to play. I'm a little bit more questionable on Luke Musgrave, but from what I've heard about him, he sounds like a pretty tough guy, so I bet he's willing to push through anything. And we'll see if the Packers and their training staff think that's wise. Luke Tenuta, he is questionable. We have Quay Walker, no designation. Christian Watson, questionable. Was limited Wednesday and Thursday. Didn't practice on Friday, but Matt LaFleur said that was the plan to give him a full day's rest. And so we'll see on Sunday before the game if Watson is able to go after missing the past, I think, 4 games with the hamstring injury. Then we have Dontavian Wicks limited on Wednesday, fully practiced Thursday, Friday. He's questionable. So especially with him fully practicing Thursday, Friday, I would assume he plays on Sunday. And then Emmanuel Wilson's shoulder, fully practiced Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And as I said, there's a chance he could potentially be activated off of the IR onto the active roster. And so there are lots of guys who are questionable here, many being the receivers, Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, Jaden Reed. I think that, the fact that last week Wicks and Watson were out, the fact that they're questionable, same with Reed, who went out in the first half with that chest injury against the Vikings. Odds are at least one of those guys plays, in my opinion, probably Jaden Reed and Wicks, and I'm sort of in a maybe on Watson, but we'll see. Maybe they all go, and maybe the Packers have a fully healthy receiver core on Sunday, which would be awesome. And then Devondre Campbell ended off here at the top. He fully practiced Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so he'll be back for the first time in a couple weeks. And with Isaiah McDuffie doubtful with his concussion/neck injury, that is good news with Campbell that he should be back and will be back with Quay Walker on Sunday against Fields. And then that is pretty much it. Jair, of course, was suspended last week, fully practiced this week. Still dealing with that shoulder injury, but he should be good to go, and we'll see if the Packers start him on Sunday. Now for the Bears, there are a few key injuries here. I'll talk about the most important one, and that is Jalen Johnson, their cornerback shoulder injury. He is doubtful, and he is their best defensive player. If you look at PFF and their grades, Jalen Johnson is the number 1 graded quarterback in the NFL out of 125 cornerbacks. So that is a massive loss for the Bears if he doesn't play. The fact that he's doubtful means obviously there are doubts he's probably not going to play on Sunday. Then we have Khalil Herbert, running back. He didn't practice Friday, limited on Thursday, questionable. He's a key guy as well. Kyler Gordon, defensive back, also questionable. DJ Moore, no designation. Lucas Patrick, former Packer, questionable. Patrick Scales is questionable. Cole Kmet as well, knee injury, and he is questionable. So a few key injuries for the Bears, not quite as many as the Packers. So we will see on Sunday before the Packers-Bears game who is in, who is out. Lots of guys questionable entering this key, massive matchup on Sunday. So I'll be out with a video after the game reacting to whether it's the Packers making the playoffs or the Packers season ending. Hopefully it is the Packers making the playoffs. But that's all I have for this one. Thank you for watching. If you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below.